Hi everyone, it's Sean. This is Sunday night. I've been working on one of the modules in the Security Management and Leadership course. I've been working on it for almost 2 hours. So far, running time on it, if you were to play the video, it's about an hour, hour and a half. I'm not saying that because the video is longer, it's better quality. I'm just saying that I've been putting a lot of time today. Today I've been putting a lot of time into it. So I want to take a little break if my speech is off topic a little bit. Sometimes the continuity is lost. I don't even know what the hell I just said. Continuity. I guess that's the flow of my wording. Frame of thought is distracted. Forgive me. I want to give you guys a video on this lovely Sunday night. Give you something. I just feel like I need to do something during this break. So first thing about my shirt, I noticed that a lot of you, well, some of you made some references to it. Some of you like it. Some of you don't. What does it all mean? Well, it says here, professional consultant. Am I a professional consultant? No, I'm not. I'm not a real professional consultant. I just need to put some title here because I have this YouTube channel. What else am I going to put here? I'm going to put on here YouTuber. It looks great, professional consultant. So if you think I'm a professional consultant, then by all means it's having an effect. This number one with the lightning bolt. This was a LAPD officer. I think he was assigned to some tactical unit, maybe a SWAT team. He came up with this 1% logo. 1% of the elite law enforcement are able to accomplish a certain task. There's a lot more. It actually comes from a military standpoint, but he integrated into a law enforcement context. There's 1% of us that are performing 99%. And then here it says security and investigations, and that just goes with this whole channel. So that's what my shirt is about, you guys. I'm not a real professional consultant. I just need something to go here. I don't know what else I would put. So let's talk about trespassing. How do you deal with trespassers? I like to know, like, what areas what kind of posts are you guys at? I've been talking to quite a bit of you. I know that about 5 of you work at hospital security, which is pretty interesting because that's what I did as well in my former life. But I'd like to know what states you guys are in, what general areas. I'm really curious, and I'm sure other people are also curious. You don't have to give the name of your company. That's totally fine. Or you don't even have to tell us where you are. But it'd be nice if it's California, Nevada, Arizona, Ohio. I think there's a couple of people from Ohio that watch this channel. And where are you guys from? And how's it like over there? Florida, also New York. How do you deal with trespassers? So right now in California, trespassing on the law enforcement level, the courts level, it's one of those offenses because of COVID-19, lack of manpower. It's one of those offenses that are just being thrown out. The court system is not, they're not taking it seriously, trespassing. They're not prosecuting a lot of cases, and because of that, law enforcement doesn't want to accept those private persons' arrest. Although in California, if you have reasonable cause to believe a crime occurred, and you are a private person, okay, you're a private security officer in California, and you made a legitimate private person's arrest, by law, a California peace officer has to take custody of that person. Now, on the flip side, custody could mean, hey, I'm gonna issue you a citation. You're gonna have a promise to appear at a later date. That's also accepting somebody into custody, but you're releasing them also. So when a peace officer gives you a ticket, they took you into custody and then they released you. So at the bare minimum, they have to do that. But what's happening with trespass? Are police responding? I'll tell you guys this, that in the 90s, if you recall, I started private security in the 90s. Those were some rough times. I worked bars and clubs, and this isn't me. I'm just telling you what other people did. We had this guy that was really he was heavy-handed, And the way that he dealt with trespassers, I don't think any of you guys would believe me if I say this, but I'm going to say it anyhow. So with drug dealers, if they disrupt the clubs or the bars, um, he would actually take them all the way to the side to a little corridor, a little corner where nobody's looking, and and say, hey, look, we could do two things. I can call the police, and for each pill that you have or bindle, okay, that's 5 years in prison, 2 years in prison, 10 years in prison, what not. Because he also had money with him, so that's possession for sales. And this is a time when police were prosecuting, well, the courts were prosecuting for felonies, even personal possession of narcotics. Sales, forget it. I mean, you're gonna go to prison. You do these sales. So he would threaten them. He'd say, hey, you know what? We'll do this. I could call the police. You'll be arrested. You're gonna go in jail for a very long time, maybe 10 years. You're not gonna you're not gonna see the light of day in a long time. Or how about you just give me the pills or the dope, whatever it is, and the money that comes with it. So he told me that he would have $10,000, $20,000 of cash on him, and it's kind of like I'm robbing the drug dealer. To me, it made me feel very uncomfortable. This is not while I'm in law enforcement. You know, if you're in law enforcement and you believe a felony, a probable cause of felony occurred, you're gonna you depending on policy, you might actually have to do something. But this is when I was in it during this was not during my law enforcement days. So I just thought that was really strange. And by the way, all these scenarios and these situations I'm telling you, just because I tell you them or tell you about a scenario, that doesn't mean it really happened. It may be used for illustration purposes. And I think you guys get my point, right? Now, I know another guy. So if you worked at bars or clubs, the way that you take somebody out is if they're being belligerent, you literally you throw them out. You grab them and you throw them out. I'm not saying that I did it. This is what this guy would do: is he would literally grab them and throw them out. They would usually be bleeding on the face. I mean, you throw somebody out, literally, they might have some cuts and bruises and scars on them as well. But this one guy, I guess it really, whatever he told them went down to the security guy's underneath his skin. He actually grabbed him like this. I think he grabbed him by the throat like this, and then boom, pinned him against the wall and started whispering something to him in front of everybody, in front of the line. Everybody's waiting to get in the club. But during those years, you guys, there was no cell phone cameras. It was rare for anybody to have a camcorder in their car, and usually he would do that to people who were already pissed off from the get-go on that particular individual. So that individual would probably is one of the guys that would try to grab a lady's rear, maybe her breast, try to hook up with her and her friends. That person that just needs to go, and that would almost get into fights with everybody. So the crowd that was watching, they didn't like him anyways. So they didn't complain about it. It was more acceptable. I mean, during that time, I'm not saying that it was right what he did. For me, it just felt like he was doing something wrong, but it worked. It worked. Nobody ever came back. Okay, you deal with something in that manner, they don't come back. I'm going to reiterate, that's not the way to deal with people, but in that situation, it worked. Okay, the drug dealers, they didn't come back. Okay, they didn't come back, and how they justified being ripped off without, with showing up to their line of business without the dope, without money. I mean, somebody above them must have believed their story that the security guy ripped them off, because there's some places where you get whacked if you show up with no dope and you show up with no money. So those are ways that worked during that decade. You can't do that anymore. I do know that there's still some clubs and bars where the guards they're heavy-handed and they will physically throw you out. If you do that, you have to justify your actions. But that club or bar, when you have these security guys that are heavy-handed, that establishment has a reputation of being heavy-handed, and that one person will tell his friends, tell other friends, tell other friends, and then other people don't mess with security over there. You do what you're told and respect others. And it works. Well, it worked. Past tense. Okay. Um, the homeless that are coming on your property, transients, what do you call them? People without means. How are you guys dealing with them? Um, in law enforcement, not law enforcement, but I remember my security times, we would call the police, and they would give them a no trespass warning. If they returned, okay, then us security would sign the private person's arrest form, and the police would take them into custody. Maybe they book them locally or into county jail, but many times they wouldn't come back. But remember, a lot of these people, a lot of them have a behavioral health challenge. I don't even want to say issue, it's a challenge, because um, having a behavioral health challenge is a challenge. That's the nicest way I can say it right now. I mean, I feel really bad for people who are struggling, but this trespass arrest might not do anything, because there's people out there that believe that your property that you're patrolling is their property. They bought it 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and these are, again, your transients. They have mental health challenges, and they really believe that, and they'll keep coming back and forth on the property, and you'll keep signing that complaint form. I mean, how do you guys dealing with these situations? Um, one of the one of the issues, or one of the solutions that I've been thinking about, that in law enforcement that uses sometimes, is maybe they want to go somewhere where family can help them. So um, maybe give them a ticket to Greyhound. Maybe they're from Texas or Alabama or some other state, and all their resources are over there. Are you guys giving the bus tickets to go back over there, or are you depending on law enforcement to do something? And if you are, is law enforcement doing anything about it? And that's one of the things is, if I'm private security manager, or I own a company, I'm in charge of an area, and I keep having the same people giving me problems, I'm gonna be thinking outside the box. If I keep calling law enforcement, nothing happens, I'm gonna think outside the box. I'm gonna say, hey, what do you want? Is there some place you like to go? And I would consider giving them a ride. Obviously, have some type of camera recording. Um, I'd give them a ride to the bus stop, and I would wait there with them until the bus got there, and actually brought them to where they need to go. I would even go so far as to follow the bus, make sure they don't come back to the property. Well, not too far, but you guys know what I'm saying. Make sure that they're on the bus, and then they're off. Usually, when they're on the bus and it's driving, as long as they're not causing disturbance, bus driver will keep going. Um, that's one of the ways, and I found that, I mean, you can give somebody a bus ticket, a Greyhound bus ticket, from one place to a faraway place for $25. Um, have have you guys thought about them private security getting a collection pot of, or getting everybody pitching $2, $3 when you're up to 25, and then doing this? Now, if you're listening to this and you're a manager, a security manager, owner of a company, don't let your guard force pay for this. This should come out of your pockets. If you're the owner, it should come out of your pockets. If you're the manager, talk to the owner about some type of reimbursement. So there's just methods. I'm thinking outside the box. Um, I I can keep going for another 50 minutes, an hour, talking about different ideas, and I think I'm going to continue this to another different part, or another video, like a part 2 or something like that. So anyhow, I need to get back to my course that I'm working on. I look forward to hearing you guys' comments, concerns, requests for different videos. You guys, I read all the comments, and I respond to about 90% of the time. I get really excited when one of you guys make a comment. If you make a comment or you have a question, it gets me elevated. I get happy. Okay, you guys all take care and be safe.